Hello, this is Gabrielle Moore, and I'm here to bring you application activity number 5, being right. Yep, this is me in my backyard with my best friend Jenny. Jenny moved in across the street from me when I was 5, and we became fast friends. We really grew up together. We had the basic same cultural starting points. After all, we both grew up in Boise. We were both children of single mothers. We were the same age. Actually, she was 3 months older than me. We lived across the street from each other from the time we were 5 until we were 17. We attended the same schools and we had the same taste in music. My concept of self was really intertwined with hers for many years. If she liked Pink, I liked Pink. If she liked a particular song by Olivia Newton-John, then I loved that song. When I got a butterfly bike, she got a matching bike. In my naivete, I believed that we were living identical lives. Culture, even teenage girl culture, is dynamic, ever-changing, and culture is systemic, which means sometimes all we see are the resulting behaviors because the cause of the behaviors are hidden from us. This on the left is Charlotte, Jenny's mom. As a child, I thought Charlotte was so fun because she was the mom who would spontaneously decide to go to Dairy Queen at 9 o'clock at night, or who would let us stay up late and watch rated R movies, or who would let us drive her station wagon before we had our driver's licenses. What I didn't know until much later was that Charlotte was bipolar and an addict. I believe you would call my experience with all that was going on over the years cognitive dissonance. I saw that was going on across the street, but my immaturity and naivete prevented me from seeing what was really happening. I was in total denial. Jenny and I went through some rough teen conflicts. Some fights were over boys or games or sharing, but mostly our conflicts were about other friends. As she got older, we began growing apart. She dropped out of high school, moved out and got her own place with her own boyfriend. We were not nice to each other a lot during that time. Now fast forward to 1991. I'm getting married, and despite of our on-again, off-again relationship, I asked Jenny to be my maid of honor, which she agreed to. As my wedding day approached, she stopped answering my calls. One of my other friends had to scramble at the last minute to throw me a bridal shower, and Jenny never went in for a dress fitting. So at the last minute, I had to have another friend of mine step in to be my maid of honor. I was increasingly hurt by her lack of participation and communication. However, I was still shocked when she finally told me she had decided not to just remove herself from my wedding party, but she had completely decided to not even attend my wedding. As far as I was concerned, she had betrayed me on the most important day of my life. So my wedding day went on without her. That was it for me. There were no excuses that could make her right in this situation. At the time, I was not the least bit curious about why she did this. We were done. A decade passed before we spoke again. Time had given us both maturity, life experience, and empathy, and here's what I learned. Although I did not realize it at the time, we use the ABC model of cultural intelligence to gain understanding and perspective of one another. Our first step, and the most painful to hear, was to acquire the knowledge that we didn't have already. Jenny's mom, Charlotte, had suffered from bipolar disorder and had self-medicated for many, many years. What I saw as the fun mom was really Charlotte being manic. Jenny had dropped out of school due to depression resulting from years of emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. She began self-medicating to cope with that trauma. She had lived an unpredictable, abusive, chaotic, and traumatizing childhood. We, meaning myself and all of my neighbors, all had front row seats to Jenny's nightmares, and no one did anything about it. Next, we built on the knowledge and contemplated what we had learned about each other. Due to my ignorance with all that was going on in her life, I had done and said some things that were very hurtful to her. In fact, she remembered a few instances when I had been simply a bad friend and incredibly insensitive. The truth was, we were both acting out of our own brokenness and trauma. Once she had shared excuse me, once we had shared our experiences and our feelings about all that had transpired, we acted on this new knowledge. She was apologetic about not standing up with me at my wedding. That had been a particularly difficult time in her life, and she did not have the emotional capacity to be happy for someone else. How was it possible that we lived 30 feet apart all those years, but had experienced such incredibly different childhoods? The harsh truth was that although scenery and geography was the same for us, we lived in two very different cultures. We listened to each other, we cried, we mourned our childhood, and then we said goodbye. Too much time had passed, and we had grown apart, and there was just no going back. But most importantly, we forgave each other. It has probably been 20 years since I saw Jenny last. As the years have gone by, I have thought of her often and wondered how she was doing. I know that she spent a lot of time in therapy and has worked on healing those deep wounds her childhood left behind. I also wonder if she thinks about our time together on Inglewood Road and if those memories are painful or happy. I know that she has done all she can to break the chain of abuse, and I wish her all the good things. Thank you.